give the Tigers a little more time. They're going to go in a shotgun again down deep inside the 10-yard line. Flags down. This has been a very clean played game. There hadn't been a lot of penalties as I think back. Very few penalties in this football game. A very well called game. The official spots illegal procedure against the Wildcats, and they'll move them back. Clarksdale.
Third down and 15.
Look at now at a third down and about 14 to go. They need to come up to about somewhere around the 19-yard line to pick up a first down. Football is at the, well, we'll call it the 5, just shy of the 5. Clark staying in the shotgun. They're going to evidently try to pass out of there. No, going to run it. Little draw to Liddell. Liddell straight ahead picks up a few yards, and that's about it.
Trammell on the stop. Fourth down.
Tiger making the stop is Trammell, and after the Trammell tackle, the Wildcats will be looking at a 4th down and 11 to go. But the good thing for the Wildcats is the clock is running with 9:29 to go. Well, you got to wonder maybe about the decision to go to the shotgun down there with a big lead and 9 minutes left in the game. But Wildcats evidently thought they could pull one out. Now they got to punt it out of the end zone. Penalty flags down as Williams was ready to punt, and he went on and kicked it. Officials spot something out there. We'll wait and see what the call is. This has really been a good football game tonight, especially if you're a Clarksdale Wildcat fan. I know you've enjoyed it. Offsides against the Tigers, so that'll give a little bit more punting room for the Wildcats. As Williams now will probably may get out of his end zone. Now he's going to stand, I think, right on the goal line, about a yard deep in the end zone. Tigers are going to come after. They'd love to block this one. Oh, and they're getting a little anxious. I believe that may have been South Panola again. Nose guard trying to hit the Clarksdale center. You know what he's trying to do is to force a turnover on the long snap. And that may go against South Panola. I know. No, they say Clarksdale this time, so who knows? Maybe the center moved the ball too quick, but it was something right there in the middle of the line that drew the illegal procedure call. That's going to move it right back down to the 9-yard line. And we're right back where we started a moment ago, with Williams will be standing about midway in the end zone. Tigers stand to get good field position. Lone receiver back is Kendrick Booth at the midfield stripe for the Tigers. They're going to try to block it, though. That's what they want to do. They're coming after him. Got a piece of it. Ball was blocked, but only a piece of it. And it's going to come out to about the 31-yard line. Williams was rushed hard and knocked down. One of the Tigers got a piece of it. He might have got a piece of Williams' leg, too, because looks like Broderick Pounders is shaken up. I think he got kicked. Tremendous rush by the Tigers on Williams. Williams did a good job of getting it off, but it was blocked partially. And the Tigers will have it 31 yards away from pay dirt. 8:31 to go in this football game. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot of good football as Clarksdale is leading 21-0 here in this 4th quarter. Clarksdale scoring on 3 touchdown strikes by Casey Clark, 2 to Williams, 1 to Liddell. That's Prince carrying the football. Let's see who's on to the bottom of all that for Clarksdale as he gets up. That looks like 14 if he ever turns around. Yeah, on the bottom of that thing was 14, Fernando Matthews. Matthews has played a good defensive football game, the 10th grader for Clarksdale. Number 14's been very active from his linebacker position tonight. Another penalty flag down. Just as we said, there hadn't been many penalties tonight. We've had several here in the last minute. 8 minutes to go in the football game. Clock stopped exactly with 8 minutes left. 21-0 Clarksdale. And South Panola, I think, is going to pick up an illegal procedure call, and it's no, a double foul. Double penalty. I don't know what that second call was. Might have illegal participation, but I'm not sure. Anyhow, it's an offsetting penalty. Second down, 12 to go for the Tigers. Connor hands off to Dean. Dean straight ahead, driving hard. Dean's a good hard runner. And he just blasts straight ahead to the 25-yard line. Kern, first man there for the Wildcats. Looks like Dean may be shaking up again. He was hurt back in the third quarter. Now he's not getting up. I think he's got a cramp. Looks like they're working on his left leg.
We now have 7 minutes and 38 seconds remaining.
Well, while they look at Dean, well, that wasn't Dean. Check it. That was Chad Brown shaking up for the Tigers. He comes out. Look at the big contingent of Clarksdale Wildcat cheerleaders down below. And those young ladies have had something to really cheer about tonight as their Wildcats are leading 21-0. Tigers back in action here. First man, that's Dean. On that right side, Dean not going very far. I saw one Wildcat hanging on down there. Looked like Bill Taylor, number 50, 190-pound linebacker, and he had helped several more Wildcats. Looked like also down there was Stokes and Moses Sales all there. All those kids played great defense tonight. You've heard those names called a lot tonight. Clarksdale's defense is really looked good. Also, Chris Gasper, for 75, done a good job there at nose guard. South Panola driving for the first down. They get the first down, but the clock's running. 6:56 to go in the ball game. That was Dean again. Reynolds on the tackle for the Wildcats. How many times we talked about William Reynolds tonight? What a fine defensive effort for the Wildcats tonight. Clock running now, 6:46 to go. Tigers trail by 21 points, trying to get on the scoreboard. Coming out of the high formation, first man. That was Brown, Chad Brown, and not much there for Brown. Downing, Reynolds, and Terry McBride all in on that tackle for the Wildcats. Listen to the crowd here in Clarksdale as the Wildcat sideline is telling the folks it's not over. Let's holler a little bit, and they're trying to get the fans into it. They've been into it most of the night. They got a little complacent, and they're saying, get up for it. Second down, and quarterback keeper. Connor just has nowhere to go. Gets to the 15-yard line. Might have picked up a yard, and that's all. Matthews, Kern, Taylor, and Hampton all in on the tackle for the Wildcats. It's been a host of Wildcats on almost every tackle. This is a good-looking, quick Clarksdale defense. They're quick, they're fast. Real active defense, and South Panola's big offensive line has simply not been able to move the Wildcats off the football this whole football game. Listen to this crowd, folks. Third down, Connor on the keeper. Connor to the 10, knocked down shy of the first down, way shy of the first down. Moses Sale in on the tackle along with Darren Williams. I believe Williams got there first. This place is going crazy. It is loud over here tonight. I'm telling you, there's folks standing in standing room only. They're standing all down on the sidelines. The stands are packed. Both sidelines on each side of the stands are packed. They're 2 or 3 deep way down to our left in the parking lot looking at the football game here tonight. A Wildcat or a Tiger is down. They're looking at him, and timeout's called in his behalf with 5 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Clarksdale 21, South Panola nothing. The cheerleaders, the majorettes all getting into this thing. They're really enjoying this football. Dean driving for first down yardage, and I believe he may have got it. Dean, a good running back. James Dean, the senior 218-pounder, picks up the first down. Well, he needed 3. He got 3.5. Down to the 5-yard line. James Dean is good for a first down. Clarksdale hustling Bill Taylor, number 50, into the football game. Coming out, one of the defensive backs, or linebackers, Kenny Kern, I believe, shaken up. But Taylor in to replace him. South Panola now in business. First down, goal to go from the 5. That's Dean. Dean hit and knocked down at the 3. Good effort by Dean after he was hit initially by number 54, Brandon Downing. Sale also there. Sales, Moses Sales, Brandon Downing. Boy, they've been all over that field tonight. The Wildcats simply with a tremendous defensive effort here, trying to keep the Tigers out of the end zone. 4 minutes to go in the game. Dean knocked back. He cannot go. Williams down there under the bottom of that thing. Also number 62. William Reynolds. What a defensive effort by Reynolds tonight. Chris Gasper shaking up a little bit coming out of the football game. He's played a good football game tonight on defense. Comes out to get a breather. Dean, short of the goal line, turned back on 3rd down. It's going to be 4th down and goal from about the 1-yard line. South Panola just trying to punch it in. They have no passing game whatsoever because a team in this situation would certainly be throwing the football. 3 minutes to go in the game. South Panola trailing 21-0. They're staying on the ground, just pounding it and taking a lot of time doing it. No passing game whatsoever for the Tigers. Let's see if they put it in the air here. You doubt it because they've stayed on the ground all the way. Dean, the lone back. That's Dean. Dean twisting, turning, touchdown, South Panola. Dean gets it in, but not by much. That was as tough a touchdown as the Tigers will earn, I would imagine, this season. They finally get it in, but with only 2:48 to go in this 4th and final quarter, the Tigers get the goose egg off the scoreboard, and now it's 21-6. You got to figure South Panola will go for 2. Clarksdale with a heartbreaking loss at Batesville last year against this Tiger team. Trying to get revenge here tonight. Connor going to keep it. Cannot go. Knocked down for a loss. 2-point conversion is no good. I believe the first man there was Darren Williams, number 1. So with 2:48 to go in this ball game, Clarksdale hanging on now to a 21-6 lead against the Tigers. Lining up for the onside kick. Ball bouncing around. Looked like Casey Clark was in there. Starting quarterback, Wildcats, because of his good hands. Clark did recover it. So Clarksdale retains possession after recovering the onside kick. Well, we said last week there was going to be a traffic jam out on Lee Drive. Well, it is really going to be one tonight because I don't know how many folks are here tonight, but several thousand folks are going to leave this stadium about the same time. And it's going to be a while getting out of here tonight. Clarksdale field filled up with football fans tonight. Fumble, and the Wildcats trying to kill the clock, fumble it away. Nope. Say the Wildcats have it. I thought I saw a South Panola player with a football, but evidently the Wildcats had recovered it. That could have been a big break for South Panola with 2:22 the clock running here. There's still plenty of time if they could have recovered that fumble. So Wildcats got to be careful here. I know they're just trying to hang on. They got a 21-6 lead. The only people really now that can beat them are themselves, and their coaching staff knows that. Coach Murphy's, I'm sure, sent in instructions. Whatever you do, don't fumble the football. Sometimes that doesn't matter. It can still happen. Sometimes you concentrate on it more, it happens more. There's a flag down. Looks like there's going to be a delay of the game call probably against the Wildcats. Taking a lot of time. Wildcats had the football up at the Wildcat 45. That's going to move it back to the Wildcat 40. Second down, 15 to go. And all they got to do now is keep it on the ground, I'm sure. Coming out of I formation with a slot to the left side. Casey Clark played a tremendous game. Hands off. I think that was Hicks. Wait and see. It was, no, check that. It was Chris Beasley. Chris Beasley carrying the football straight ahead for the Wildcats. 180-pound senior. Picked up a couple of yards, about 2 on the carry. That'll make it 3rd down and 13 to go. Clarksdale content to let the clock run down. They're just taking their time in the huddle. I don't believe they're going to run a play here. They're just going to take a delay of the game, let the clock run down. That's exactly what they're deciding to do. Clock running with 1 minute and 8 seconds. And well, they tried to call time right before the penalty, and I don't believe they got it. No, official says no, they didn't get it in time. Clarksdale was going to call time right before. They were going to milk it down all the way right before the delay call and call timeout, but they didn't get it called in time. Official says no 5-yard penalty, and that'll stop the clock. Well, they lost 5 yards. What they wanted to do is kill as much time as possible, and they did do that. Well, a lot of this big crowd starting to head for the exits now because it looks like it's going to be a Wildcat victory party in Clarksdale tonight because the Wildcats, after a 21-0 lead at halftime, have held on here with a tremendous defensive effort, and it's 21-6 with 1:05 to go. Clark's just going to kneel down now on 3rd down, backs up, kneels down. They're going to let the clock run. Well, they're going to let it run down and have to punt it. They're going to have to punt the football one more time, I do believe. Most of this big crowd still here, and you can hear them down below. This is a crowd that's really enjoyed this football game tonight. Everybody standing on the home side, cheering along with the cheerleaders and the band, cheering their Wildcats. This is what high school football is all about. There's nothing, I don't think, any better as far as competitive sports than high school football. One thing is you include so many people. You include the band, you include your majorettes, cheerleaders. So many involved in this, as well as the players. It's not just for the players, it's for the whole student body. In Clarksdale, their high school is to be commended because they certainly do get all of their students involved in this thing. The student section down there, I tell you, they got probably several hundred in the student section. They're jumping up and down and enjoying this just as much as the football players. It helps to have this type of support. Of course, this program here at Clarksdale has been strong for many years. Last week was the first time I've been here in a long time, and I was quite impressed, and even more so tonight. My hat's off to the administration of the Clarksdale City Schools for the tremendous participation they have from their student body in these high school football games here at Clarksdale. Clock to stop with 17 seconds after the delay penalty. Williams will punt for the last time tonight. They'll flag down. I don't think he's going to kick this one because the penalty is going to stop this. Well, the Tiger Band across the way still playing, and with all their pom-pom girls and majorettes and all, they're still cheering their team on. We'll take our hat off to that fine program as well. A lot of kids participating here tonight in this football game. Clarksdale penalized 5 yards. Williams gets a kick away, a wobbly kick. It's going to hit at the 47 and roll out of bounds at the 42. So the Tigers will have only 6 seconds left on the clock from the 42-yard line, trailing 21-6. It's going to be a Clarksdale win here, and looks like the water bucket's out. Well, we're looking at, I don't know if they're scared to pour it on or not, but some of the players on the bench have got the water bucket, and they got some meanness in their mind right now. So they're going to pour it on the coach. There goes Coach Murphy, and he takes a bath here tonight. Ice bath for Coach Jesse Murphy, and I'm sure he didn't mind that. He was worried really about his standout defensive player, Brandon Downing. He was shaken up. He was concerned about him. About that time, he got the ice. Looks like Downing's limping a little bit. Tigers on the last play of the game. The clock's going to run out here, and that's it. Clarksdale beats South Panola 21-6, and we'll just watch it with you. Well, Clarksdale will travel to Rosedale next Friday night after going 2-0 in this early season. And there you see Coach Stanley and Coach Murphy. Last year it was Coach Stanley, the winner. This year, Coach Murphy and his Wildcats the victor over the Tigers. And both teams congratulating each other. What a tremendous football game we've witnessed here tonight. It's certainly been a pleasure bringing it to you. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is something we like to do, is high school football. We have for a long time, and now with our station in Clarksdale, Channel 12, we're so glad to be bringing you folks Clarksdale High School, and we'll have a game of the week each week. Next week, we'll travel down to Cleveland, and we'll visit the home of the East Side Trojans. We're looking forward to seeing them as they take on John F. Kennedy out of Mound Ball. And there you see a happy bunch of Clarksdale Wildcats as they have knocked off one of the perennial powers in the state of Mississippi, in fact in the whole southeastern part of the country, the South Panola Tigers. The Tigers will drop to 2-1 on the season. The Wildcats will improve their record to 2-0. And as we said, they will take on Rosedale next week. Well, this was such an enjoyable game, it's hard to end it. These are the kind that you'd like to go on and on, because the Wildcat fans and their students have enjoyed this so much, and they've really gotten into it here tonight and made this quite an atmosphere for high school football. Well, the Wildcats had a sputtering offense in the first half, but they were able to score 3 times. And the scoring went like this. Darren Williams, a fine Clarksdale receiver, scored on a 35-yard pass from Casey Clark with 1:02 left in the first quarter. Clarksdale went out in front 7-0 after Liddell tacked on the PAT, one of his 3 PATs on the night. And with 10:05 left in the second quarter, Clarksdale backed up. They were sputtering on offense, couldn't move the ball. They were going backwards, and on a 3rd down and long, Casey Clark came up big to Darren Williams on a 90-yard touchdown reception and run. And that made it, after the Liddell PAT, 14-0 Clarksdale. Then with only a minute 23 left before halftime in the second quarter, Liddell scored on a 7-yard pass from Casey Clark. Liddell was good with the PAT, and that's where we stood at halftime, 21-0. That was all the scoring for the Clarksdale Wildcats. The only other score was in the fourth and final period with 2:48 to go in the game. James Dean carried it in from 1 yard out. The PAT failed as the Tigers went for 2, and that's the way we ended here tonight. Clarksdale 21, South Panola 6. You just can't say enough about this fine Clarksdale defense. The defense certainly shut down the Tigers until the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the football game, and it was just quite a defensive effort. And I was so impressed, as I'm sure all these both sides of this South Panola crowd and the Wildcat crowd, with the Tiger or the Wildcat defense. We knew South Panola was outstanding on defense. This Clarksdale team really came ready to play tonight on defense. The offense, like we say, it sputtered on the ground, but with some great play calling, going to the air, going to the shotgun with Casey Clark. You got to give Coach Jennings a lot of credit, calling some really fine plays at the opportune time. And Clarksdale going to the air, scores 3 times in the air, and their defense did what it had to do. They shut down the Tiger offense, and South Panola will leave here losing to Clarksdale 21-6. Well, it's been a big night, Clarksdale, and a big crowd, a fine night for high school football. We've certainly enjoyed bringing this game to you. I'd like to thank my cameraman, Chad Ellington, for his fine work each week. We'll have another one for you next week. We'll travel down to Cleveland. We're planning on going down to see Eastside at home, and we hope you'll tune in for that. We'll have football each week for you here on one of our local low-power television stations. So if you're seeing this, you'll be seeing another one next week. Good Lord willing. So from Crumpton Field in Clarksdale, I'm David Ellington saying so long, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this big Clarksdale win here tonight over South Panola as the Wildcats win 21-6. See you next week.